When you see a Gasai pose like this from Jibril, shit is going down in the episode. So, yeah, did anyone else not catch that? Freaking Jibril definitely used the Gasai pose that I have seen, and it's very, I guess, popular. It's a popular pose that Gasai's always done, and getting to see Jibril reenact that entire, like, type of scene was like, what the fuck? So, besides that entire factor of Jibril looking like Gasai, finding out about all these different characters, this episode, I guess, wasn't action-packed in terms of actual mind game, psychological, getting to see the world as characters fight and bet each other, but in this episode, there was development. Major development with each individual character. We actually find out about almost all the main characters. I mean, we find out more about Steph, we find out about Jibril, we find out about Sora, we find out about Shiro, we find out all sorts of development. Now, let's go in individual order. Okay, so this episode is pretty much just character development for Steph and getting to see more about her father, but there was other development to be had besides just Steph. What we saw in this episode was about Jibril. We get to see her true personality. Let's put it this way. I was absolutely just awestruck, scared, and shocked seeing Jibril just doing this, the Gasai pose, and at the same time, she's like, oh, it's so awesome, and we were having a fight with the freaking gods and all that, the old gods, and then there was only 50 of us, so we all got defeated. It was so awesome. I'm like, what the fuck? What? Okay, so we found out that freaking Jibril is an S or an M. I don't know, but oh my god. So that's her true personality. She's fucking twisted. I like it, though. Jibril's fucking badass. Okay, so besides that, we find out more about, Jibril's true personality. Let's talk about Sora and Shiro's. Sora and Shiro's character development of this episode absolutely was shocking. I did not expect to see some form of development like we saw in this episode. Not a lot of development, but there was some development on their characters. For one thing, we find out more about their backstory. We see how Sora met Shiro for the first time. Now, as he states in this episode, he saw Shiro for the first time 8 years ago, and so technically, Shiro was older than that. So pretty much, Shiro and Sora were separated at birth. They're like probably half-brother and sister, step-brother and sister, I don't know. But either way, as we can see how the backstory shows, is that the only person that understands Sora was Shiro. Shiro says, you're an empty person, aren't you? She immediately realized that Sora was hiding behind a fake smile, and he really didn't care about no one around him. And so that is technically how Sora and Shiro first met, how they became to be known as Blank. And so I like that a lot. We really get to see a little bit of backstory that hints at a lot of things. For instance, why are Shiro and Sora's parents, broke up? Why were they not together? And also, exactly, are they really full 100% blooded brother and sister? I don't know. Besides that factor, we also get to see some development with Sora this episode. We find out that he doesn't have any faith in humanity. He doesn't care about humanity. He hates humanity. Pretty much he's disgusted with it. But he sees humanity's infinite possibility and potential. And right there, it completely reminds me of something I recently saw in Hunter x Hunter. And so just holy shit. The way this is being used, though, I love these type of terms in anime. It's so fucking badass. The way, just how humanity is portrayed. And I love the way Sora actually takes his own thoughts into the entire subject of how even though humanity is physically weak, they may not be the strongest magical inclined race that we've seen, but you don't underestimate their potential with technology, and that's what this episode tries to show. I like that, how Sora brought up all sorts of space travel and stuff, and just saying that it's completely unbelievable. Like, for instance, Jibril's standpoint, it was unbelievable, but humanity can evolve even further. So I like that a lot. Now, that's just the character development to the actual, I guess, backseat characters of this episode. The main development focused on Steph and her grandfather. That's exactly where the development lied in this episode, besides the very cliffhangers finale. But let's talk about Steph. Okay, Steph's build-up in this episode, I like. I did not expect to see Steph cry. That was a very impactful scene. I'm not going to deny that. Actually, I did not expect to feel very depressed over that entire scene. I knew that Sora and Steph would eventually make up as friends again, but still getting to see that moment to when you got Sora just making fun of her grandpa, and being honest, he technically was honest. He was saying what any observer would say about someone if he was to bet off all his fucking territory to another race and kept challenging him over and over 8 different times. The first impressions you get is that dude is fucking crazy and stupid. But as we could see, Steph 100% believed in her grandfather, cared for her grandfather, and Sora just pretty much just bitch slapped him, hit him in the face, and was putting down her dead grandfather. And so, after hurting Steph, as you can see, Sora actually feels very sorry about that, and he tries to figure out exactly why Steph's grandfather would go to such an extent to want to fight these war beasts 8 different times, betting off territory. What kind of sane person would do that? And so, as we see for the episode progress, war beasts, when they challenge their bets in their games and stuff, they always bet to where the opposite party will lose all their memories, so they cannot figure out something about them. So right there, here's the big question about this entire episode, or the entire way this direction of this arc is going to go. For one thing, the war beasts have a major weakness, but nobody knows it, because every time the war beasts bet someone, they always make sure they add on a side addition to where they will lose their memories of the game, so they can never tell exactly what the war beasts are really doing in the game. So that's very smart of the war beast. Now, exactly what are the war beasts doing? Are they cheating? Are they doing something else? I mean, we have seen cheating in this series already, so most likely the war beasts are doing something on the lines of cheating. And so right there, I'm kind of interested in that. But besides that, the way it ended off, okay, pretty much as the ending states, pretty much Steph's grandfather is redeemed. Steph's grandfather had so much faith in humanity and knew that the chance was almost 0% to save everybody, to save humanity, and make them, go back to their proper rule of, being one of the top classes and races in the world. And so, what is so cool is that the way symbolism of the scene, getting to see how Steph's grandfather is just talking, his speech was just so fucking badass, inspiring and emotional that I loved it so much. And I feel like that's why I'm starting to love No Game a lot. Besides all the comedy and the fan service, which there was fucking fan service in this episode, which was fucking adorable, I'm not gonna lie. Right at the start, fan service, which will probably upset a lot of different people if you don't like fan service, which, as you all know how I feel about fan service. I don't really care for it. I'm fine with it as long as if we have some form of plot progression. If we have some good plot progression, I can overlook fan service, so I can overlook what happened at the beginning, but it was still cute and adorable. Good fucking animation. But besides that, okay, this episode overall did its job. It mainly built up what we should expect from the war beast. The war beast has some major flaw and fatal weakness that Sora's about to find out in this book that Steph's grandfather left. We had so much development with the characters that I love this series even more, and I cannot wait to see next episode. So everybody, I love you so much. Please be safe. Chibi out.